Hi everyone, welcome to another Thursday edition of our Five Stones Academy live stream. Today we're going to be talking about something that gets brought up to me a lot when I'm meeting with a client, talking to them about marketing their business. One of the things that we often talk about is Facebook advertising, because it's an extremely effective method of getting your message out to your audience. Well, when I'm talking to a prospective client and I mention Facebook advertising to them, they say, well, I'm already doing that. I'm, putting $5 on a post here and there, boosting a post. And they think that boosting a post is Facebook advertising. And it's a bit confusing, but boosting a post is actually very different from Facebook advertising. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is what is the difference between boosting a post on Facebook and doing actual Facebook advertising. So first, let me show you kind of what a boosted post is. Now, I took a little screen capture here where this is actually my nephew who lives in Tennessee. I happen to be an admin on his page, and when I was preparing for this just happened to show up on my page, and Facebook was suggesting that I boost a post. You'll see that often when you have an ad that is performing better than some of your other ads. Facebook will say, this ad is performing better than most of your other ads. Would you like to boost it? And you'll have the opportunity to spend anywhere from a very small amount of money boosting that post to as much as you want to. And boosting a post can be a very effective way of getting your message out further than just the people who like your page, or actually to more of the same people who like your page. Because on average, your audience, about 3% of them are going to see your Facebook posts. Now, if you have a very highly engaged page, you might get up to 15-16% of your audience, but that would be pretty rare now to do that without actually putting some money behind the post. So when you boost the post, what it's doing is it is extending the reach of an existing post that you've got that already resides on your Facebook page. It's a post that you have created, and you have the opportunity to pay to get more people to see that post. These boosted posts are optimized by Facebook for likes and comments and shares, the things that you would want someone to do with one of your regular old Facebook posts. It just gives you the opportunity, again, to let more people see that. You've got some pretty basic targeting options when you're boosting a post. Some of the most basic things would be, do you want to target the people who already like your page, or them and their friends, and some more basic targeting options, but nothing real in depth. Boosting post is also friendly for a small budget. To put $5 behind boosting a post is something that's perfectly acceptable. To put $500 behind boosting a post is acceptable as well. And it just depends on how much reach you can actually get with that. Facebook will make some suggestions for you. And it works really well for a post that is already doing well. Now, it doesn't have to be that post that's already doing well. It might be a post that you're going to create that you just know from the beginning, I want more people to see this than would usually see it. So you can boost that post, pay a little bit of money, and get more people to see it. We will very often put $20 to $50 behind a post and see much, much more reach with that post than had we not done that. And Facebook advertising versus boosted posts is not an either-or thing. You can certainly do both of them together. They just are going to serve different purposes. It's simple and easy to do for the novice. You don't have to have any kind of knowledge beyond just administering your Facebook page at its most basic level to be able to boost a post. It's something that's very simple and easy for anyone to do. And there's usually no bottom of the funnel work required. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that kind of towards the end of this segment. So that's kind of the basics of a boosted post. Now, when we get into a Facebook ad, I've got an example of an ad here that I was targeted for, and it's an ad for somebody that's wanting to sell coaching services to build a $500 million marketing agency. Well, they kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I'm a marketing agency owner, and they're advertising business growth coaching for marketing agencies. So with Facebook ads, these are ads that they don't reside on your page. You won't find a Facebook ad, like you'll see a Facebook ad in your feed, but if you go to the page that ad is for, you won't find that ad on the page. It's just not how it works. The Facebook ads are done through your Facebook Business Manager. You have very advanced targeting options with this. You can do the basics like geographical location and age and gender. You can get into things like a person's level of income. You can advertise to somebody by whether or not they are likely to be buying a house soon or likely to get engaged soon. There's a statistic out there that says that Facebook knows that you're going to get married 3 months before you do. And if you think about it, people are changing their relationship status all the time on Facebook. So, they when they are in a relationship, they'll change it from being single to in a relationship. When they are in a relationship and get engaged, they'll change it to that they're engaged. And then once they get married, they'll change it that they're married. So Facebook has got all of this data built up about people and the actions that they're taking, what they're doing before they get engaged. And they can use that to show a high probability of someone who is about to get engaged to be married. So depending on your business, that might be something that is very valuable for you. And that's just one example of the many things that you can do with targeting on Facebook. So Facebook advertising typically is going to require a larger budget. You can do Facebook advertising with a small budget, but it's a lot of work to do for a small budget. And especially if you're paying someone else to do it for you, you're going to want to have a budget that makes it worth it to pay them to do the management of it for you. And it's not for the novice. The majority of even the people out there who claim to be professionals that are doing Facebook advertising, they do not know what they're doing. They may have some of the basic ideas of it down, but the majority of people who are doing this professionally are not very good at it. We see the ads that are out there. We see the actions that that ad would bring you through, and we'll get into that when I'm talking about the bottom of the funnel part of the marketing. It is on a surface level, it is not very. It's not a highly technical process to go through, but to make these ads work takes a lot of practice and a lot of testing, and just becoming really good at your craft to make it work. So it is not for the novice. Again, in most cases, it's going to require the bottom of the funnel work to be able to see a return on investment, or especially to track a return on investment. With Facebook ads, you can have call to action buttons. On this ad, this like page button right here is a call to action button. And there's other examples of the call to action button that I'm going to show you in the next few slides. And whereas I showed that a boosted post would be optimized by Facebook for likes on the post or shares or comments, there are things that you can optimize your Facebook ads for. And just a couple examples that I've got here would be to optimize for page likes, to optimize for video views, to optimize for website clicks or app installs. And there's a whole host of things that you can do, that you can have your ads optimized to do. And Facebook will serve these ads to people who are more likely to take the action that you're wanting them to take based off of their past history. So a lot more that you can do with Facebook ads. Let me show you a few examples here of some ads and the call to action buttons. So this was the same ad that I showed you a minute ago with the like page button. We've got an ad here that is for sign up, and they're selling a subscription service. We've got another one here where they're wanting you to download their guide. And the reason that they're doing that, they want you to download their guide because you, of course, are going to give them your information when you download that guide. So now they will have a way to market to you further. By you downloading this guide, you have shown that you are interested in WordPress, which this is a WordPress hosting company. So now you give them your email address, you get this guide that's going to have some valuable information in it, and now they get to market to you on an ongoing basis. So, their idea behind this ad is to get you to download this guide, but really it's to get you to give them your contact information. Here's an ad by IBM. Honestly, it's a terrible ad. If anybody knows someone at IBM Marketing, I would love to show them what a small agency could do for them. But this ad from IBM, their call to action is to learn more. And basically they're telling you about how IT analysts can monitor over 35 billion security events a day with their platform, and they want you to learn more about that platform. So, Mark, do you have a question?
I have a question from Leslie about what's a good daily budget for ads.
So that's really going to depend on a lot of different factors. Typically we talk more in the area of monthly budgets, and I like to see a monthly budget of at least about $500 a month with Facebook ads as kind of a starting point. And then as you start seeing the return on that, you're going to want to put more and more into that. But it does depend a lot on what it is that you're selling and how big your audience is. So someone who has got a very large audience, and they're wanting to target like the United States, for example, as their geographic area, they're going to need a much larger budget than someone who is selling something locally, like a chiropractor, for example, who only needs to reach people within a 10-mile radius of his practice. So, that the budget is really going to depend on a lot of factors. We kind of have to sit down and figure that one out, and specific to you. And in a lot of cases, we really can't tell you anything more than a starting point until we actually get started and start seeing what happens with it. So, it just depends. But, to like if you have a $100 a month budget for Facebook ads, I would say spend that on boosted posts instead of Facebook ads, because it's not worth the investment in the time and in just the entire process of going through building out these Facebook ads for a small budget like that. So again, it's going to be specific to each person. Now with the ad right here, the call to action button is learn more. So just to give you an example of another one. And then here is one that doesn't actually have a call to action button at all. You don't have to use a call to action button. Now something that I wanted to show you that it's a feature that I really love is when I get served an ad, I often like to see why has that person, or what's the targeting that person has used to get me, in their, to serve that ad to me. So when you see a Facebook ad, one of the things that you're going to see is where it says sponsored right here. Now, if it says sponsored, I'm going to have these 3 little dots right up here at the top, and I can click that, and I'll get a drop down. And one of the things that I can do is click on this where it says, why am I seeing this ad? And when I click on that, it's going to show me why it is, that I'm targeted. Now, it doesn't always show you all of the targeting. It shows you some of the most basic things, but sometimes it'll show you some things that are pretty interesting. And in this particular one, there were a couple of things I thought were pretty interesting. So it says, one of the reasons I'm seeing this ad is that IBM wants to reach people interested in cloud computing based on activities such as liking pages or clicking on ads. So they are able to look at the types of pages that I like on Facebook, and also the types of ads that I click on to determine that I'm probably interested in cloud computing. And then it says, there may be other reasons you're seeing this ad, including that IBM wants to reach people ages 22 to 64 who live or were recently in the United States. Now you can do that same thing when you are doing ads, and you can do it on a much smaller level. It's called geofencing. So you can say that I want to serve an ad to a person who was recently within a particular area. So if you, and you can define some times on that as well. So if you live, if you do business in a place where there's a large event and you want to reach the people who were at that event, then you can do some of your targeting based off of that, them being in a specific area. So if you want to reach people who are who were at Jazz Fest and you want to get them to come to your restaurant, that weekend or something like that, then you can geofence that area and then serve ads to somebody based off of the fact that they were in that area during a certain time frame. So that's a really cool way of being able to target someone. But as you see ads, click and look to see what people are doing, and why they're targeting you, because that could give you some ideas in your business as to how you might target some other people as well. All right, so I had mentioned the bottom of the funnel work. Now the funnel that I'm referring to is going to be your marketing funnel. And if you look at this graphic here, then just your basic marketing funnel is going to be, the top of the funnel is where we create awareness about our business or service or the product that we're selling. Once we create that awareness, as people get further down into the funnel, they will develop interest in that product or service. Then they'll develop the desire to have that, and then they'll take an action, which would be purchasing, and then the retention is going to be the most, the bottom-most part of the funnel, where that person has already bought, they have become a client, and now they want to do more business with you or maintain that relationship with you. So you can see that we've got our people coming into the top of the funnel, and you'll see that in a marketing funnel, every marketing funnel is going to have holes in it. I don't care how good your marketing funnel is, there's going to be holes in it. 100% of the people that become aware of your product are not going to buy your product. That's just impossible to do. But what you want to do as a marketer is to make those holes as small as they can possibly be so that people don't get out of your funnel. Once they're in your funnel, you want to take them through all the steps down to a buying decision. And when we're talking about Facebook ads, we don't want to just serve them an ad and then just point them to the home page of our website and hope that they do something. We want to really take them along the path that we want them to follow. Now, in some cases, it might make sense to just point them to the home page of your website. But if you do that, there are some things that you're going to want to do. Now, when we're running Facebook ads for one of our clients, we want that client to be able to know without a doubt whether or not those ads are working for them. And the only way that they can do that is for us to put the tracking mechanisms in place. So there are a couple of things that we'll do. We will use tracking phone numbers, and we'll use something called dynamic number insertion. So I'm going to show you an example of, and we also use landing pages. I'm going to show you an example of something that we're doing with our own website. So all right, so here's the web design page of our website. And this is just one of the interior pages of our website. You can see it's got our navigation up here. So we could put someone into this page, but then they might get distracted up here by going and clicking into the site and going somewhere else that we don't necessarily want them to go. Once we've got that person's attention, we want to keep them there. We want to keep them focused on whatever it is that we're trying to sell them. If we served someone an ad that is specific to a new website for their business, then when they come to the website, they should land on the page that is all about websites, and we want them to take action from within that page. So remember, this is the page that's if you go to our home page and go to services and click on web design, this is the page you're going to come to. Now what we do is we'll create a landing page. Now this is our landing page, and this page is identical to the other page that I showed you. Now they're not always identical, sometimes we make some changes to them, but the page content itself is identical. But you will notice that we do not have a navigation, because we don't want them to go clicking around and get distracted by other things. We want them to take action on what they came there for. They were interested in a website. We don't want to overwhelm them. So let's keep them on the website page. The other thing that you'll notice here is that we have this I'm ready to get started button, which was not on our main page. And we also have a phone number here at the top, which also was not on that page. Now this phone number is not the main phone number at our office. That is a tracking phone number. If somebody calls that, we're going to get reports that someone called that number. We also will get an email or a text message immediately after they call telling us that that call came from this page of the website. If somebody clicks on the I'm ready to get started button, they're going to be brought to a form at the bottom of the page, and this form is different from the other forms on our website. So when that form gets filled out, we're going to know that it came from one of our ads. So we are able then to track that return on our investment. We know that that customer came to us through a Facebook ad or through a Google ad, and we can differentiate between the two to determine what is and what is not working for us. So when you're running these Facebook ads, you need to do the bottom of the funnel work so that you can, be sure that the money that you're spending is being spent wisely. And your marketing agency should be doing this stuff for you if they're doing Google or Facebook ads for you, so that you can make good decisions with the money that you're spending. Mark, we had a question?
Leslie is asking, if you have less than $500, should you do ads? Should you not do ads and do boosting instead?
So it depends on how much less we're talking about. Again, if we're talking about like and I don't know if y'all could hear Mark or not, but let me restate the question. The question was, if you have less than $500, should you do ads or should you do boosted posts? So my answer to that would be, if we're talking about $100, do boosted post. If we're talking about $200 to $500 and you're able to do these, like you're able to learn to do a lot of this stuff yourself, then on the lower end, yes, do it. If you have a $400 budget, $350 budget, yeah, it may make sense. You just got to make that determination for yourself to determine, is it going to be worth doing that, or are my dollars better spent just doing the boosted post? If you are doing these things yourself, if you've learned how to do the Facebook ads yourself and you're not paying someone else to manage them for you, then it may make a lot of sense for you to go ahead and run Facebook ads. I was meeting with one of my clients recently, and we were looking at his cost of acquisition per client. And the number was a bit high. And the thing that I showed him was the way to get that number lower is to spend more. And that might seem a bit crazy. It might seem a bit counterintuitive. But we charge them to manage all of their ads for them. Now, for us, their budget could be $500 a month. It could be $50,000 a month. Now, there would actually be a difference there in what we would charge them, but not in proportion to the ad spend. So if they're spending $500 a month and then they're paying us to manage it, then when you divide that, by 20 clients, your cost per acquisition is going to be higher. But when they spend more money on their ad spend, say if they take that $500 to now $3,000, and we can get them a whole lot more clients, and only half of what they're spending, or not half, but only a portion of what they're spending is increasing, that being the ad budget and not what they're paying to manage it, then their cost per acquisition gets lower and lower and lower. So you've got to look at those things. But if you're managing the ads yourself, then the only part of that, the only cost of acquisition that you have is your actual ad spend plus your time. And as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, especially if you're a solopreneur or something like that, in many cases you actually will have more time than you have money. And then as your business grows, you're going to quickly get to a point where you will where you will have more money than you will have time, and you will want to buy that time back. And that's when you want to start paying someone to do this stuff for you. So again, you just have to look at it specific to your business to make that decision. Did we have any more questions, Mark? No? All right. Well, thank you all for being here with us today. I think that the bottom of the funnel is something that we're probably going to start getting a little bit deeper into. It would probably make a really good series to do, talking about the things that you need to do to put in place to make sure that your marketing is actually working for you and that you're getting a return on investment. So, look for a series on that coming up soon. And if you've got some ideas for some things that you would like to learn from us, we would love to teach you. So, let us know in the comments. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. And again, appreciate you being here today, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.